Elon Musk's Starship. Sounds like something that's picked out of a Star Trek movie, right? Now before you write it off as just another rocket, imagine this. What if you could go on a trip around the moon this weekend? Or travel to any country on the planet in less than 60 minutes instead of spending the many painful hours listening to the guy snoring next to you? Yeah. And what if you could do all of this for the price of a normal airplane ticket? Sounds awesome, right? Well, once Starship becomes fully operational, it can do all of this and so much more. From being able to launch 400 satellites in one single flight, to ferrying people to Moon and Mars. The possibilities are endless, and so are SpaceX ambitions.
We're going to go to the moon, we're going to have a base on the moon, we're going to send people to Mars, and make life multiplanetary.
This is Tech Luxuries, and here is how the entire Starship system is going to work. The Starship system, or commonly referred to as the Starship, is basically made up of two stages. The lower stage, which is the lift launch vehicle that is going to be used to escape the Earth's deep gravity, and the second stage, also known as the upper stage, is the spacecraft itself. Let's start with the lower stage first, the booster launch vehicle that's named Super Heavy. Now if you are wondering why it's called Super Heavy, it's probably because it can lift super heavy weights of 3,680 tons. Thanks to being powered by 28 monstrous Raptor engines, fueled by liquid methane and liquid oxygen. And altogether, they are capable of producing 72 meganewtons of power. Now that's almost enough power to lift 1223 African bush elephants, each weighing 6,000 kilograms. Now let's turn to the spacecraft that's also called Starship. It has a huge payload area that can carry 100 to 150 tons. This is where Elon Musk wants to create 825 square meters of controlled environment, complete with life support systems, 40 cabins, a large common area, a galley, a cargo bay, and a solar flare shelter that could comfortably house 100 people, as the journey to Mars would take about 9 months. Now after the launch, once the Starship system reaches the orbit, the spacecraft will separate and the Super Heavy booster will start falling back to Earth so that it can be used again. In the meanwhile, the Starship is going to stay in parking orbit waiting for refueling. Now this refueling is going to be done in space with the help of another Starship that could have been launched from either Moon or from Earth, which is going to be attached at the rear of the craft. Now this methodology hasn't been tested yet, but NASA has recently awarded SpaceX with $55 million to test this in-space refueling technique. And once the Starship's tank is full, it's going to fire all its 6 Raptor engines and starts its journey towards Mars. And once it reaches Mars, it needs to slow down tremendously as it's going to be entering Mars's atmosphere at a speed of 16,500 miles per hour. Now in order to do this, the Starship is going to do a belly flop and use its fins to control its direction, kind of like a skydiver spreading his arms and legs to control his fall. Now as the Starship continues to fall through Mars's atmosphere, the heat shield present on the craft is going to experience a lot of wear, kind of like the wear and tear seen on a brake pad. Now this is also one of the main reasons why SpaceX switched the construction material of the Starship from carbon composite to stainless steel, as steel can withstand higher temperatures while being much cheaper. And even with steel as the construction material, the entire Starship system is going to have an estimated cost of $3.9 billion. Now that might seem like a lot, but considering that it's going to be reused nearly 1,000 times, it's really not that much. Let me give you a little perspective. The last NASA Space Shuttle launch had a launch cost of $450 million, whereas SpaceX estimates the launch cost of a Starship to be about $2 million. What that simply means is, for a cost of $5.9 billion, we get 1,000 flights out of a Starship, whereas compared to the mere 14 flights out of a regular space shuttle. But in order to be able to do all of this, the Starship needs to make it back to Earth. But that journey is going to require fuel. And here is where SpaceX made a brilliant move by choosing methane as the fuel, as methane can be synthesized from the Martian subsurface water and the carbon dioxide that's present in the Mars's atmosphere. Now establishing this refueling station on Mars will be the biggest challenge, but accomplishing that will make the journeys both more feasible and cost effective. Now this is just one step in Elon Musk's big plans of colonizing Mars. The billionaire who recently became the world's richest man is ready to give up half of his net worth for establishing cities on Mars. And his goal is to accomplish all of this by the year 2028. Now we all know that Elon Musk's timelines are a little too optimistic, and all of this might seem impossible by present day standards, but Elon Musk has been known to achieve the impossible. From taking a small electric car company and turning it into a globally recognized brand, or taking his net worth from 27 billion to 200 billion in just 10 months. He has done it all. So we will have to just wait and see how this is going to turn out. So in order to stay up to date with all of Elon Musk's latest endeavors, make sure to subscribe to Tech Luxuries. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering how Elon Musk's net worth saw such a rapid growth, make sure to check out this video right here.